everyone. There we go. How are you? All right. It is great to see everybody today. Arhan, welcome back. Had a nice trip? All right. Give me 1 second here. Get everything all set up. All right. Again, make sure that your name is your actual name on there. That would be helpful to me as I'm getting to know all you guys. I know you are not Jaden, right? There we go.
Oh, thanks.
Isaac, Leah, Henry. All right, here we go. So there we go. All right. Cam, do you want your name to say Cam? You know how to change it? All right, whatever you want us to call you, that's what I want your name to be on there. All right, Valet.
I don't know what's happening, but my computer's kind of like weird. It won't let me make the Zoom thing small. I mean big. Like there's no little like the 3 buttons. Instead, it's like, you know, when you like can like enlarge photos, it's like that. So I'm gonna like log off and log on again.
Okay, that's probably a good idea. A lot of times just starting helps. All right, Drake's having a similar problem. So, all right, wonderful. Great. All right, anybody have any questions before we get started? All right, I know a couple of you guys are in one of my other classes, so unfortunately, these first couple of meetings that we have, you have to listen to the same content a couple times, but just for a minute, and then we will get to the meat of the subject. All right, let me share my screen with you. Okay, so everybody can hear me okay? All right, wonderful. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see this. Put a thumbs up for me if you can see where it says Earth Science. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Always let me know if you do not see that recording there, or that picture there. I always have a slideshow like this, a PowerPoint presentation. So if you ever don't see it, just let me know. All right, did that fix it, Drake? Perfect, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and begin then. So we are going to be talking about Google Maps and Google Earth today because they're both pretty cool tools. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, though, I do want to talk about grammar rules. This is the repetitive part right here. So if you've heard all this in another class, just tone me out for just a minute, okay? And I did not get the Canvas inbox message. I haven't checked today, though. I've had classes all afternoon, so I haven't checked this afternoon. So if you sent it then I will check and see. All right, so very soon I'm going to be taking off some points for spelling and grammar errors. Now, not a lot. I'll just take off a few points. It's not an English class, but it is important that you learn how to use good spelling and grammar in your written assignments. Don't worry about it in the text here. Don't worry about it when you send me a Canvas inbox message. Only worry about the ones that you're going to be graded on. That's what I'll be taking off points for. Now, I have 4 important grammar rules that I want to cover. And this little image here shows you why it's important to use correct grammar, because just the difference between a comma and no comma. On the first one, we're eating grandpa, and on the second one, we are having grandpa come and join us for dinner. So big difference. And the little panda here, a panda eats shoots and leaves, unless it's a tactical panda, in which case it eats and then shoots and leaves. All right, so grammar matters. Let's talk about what I want you to do for this class. First, make sure that you capitalize the first word of every sentence and the personal pronoun I. So no little lowercase i's, just the big uppercase I whenever you're referring to yourself. Capitalize the name of specific people, places, and things. Please use full sentences. A sentence has a subject and usually a verb. called a predicate. So a subject and a verb. So something like the flower bloomed, Bob painted, the girls on the team were all good students. The red on those is showing the subject, and then the black is the predicate. So you need to make sure, even if it's a little short sentence, it only has 2 words in it, you need to have a subject and a verb in that. Please do not begin sentences for my class with the word because. If I ask you, why does the earth rotate on its axis? I don't want your answer to be because, and then your answer. Just tell the answer. It's best not to use the word because. There are a couple of examples of times when you would want to use it, when it would be okay to use it. One of them is in conversation. So once again, as we're talking here, if I say to you, why about something, and your answer, you can say because, and that's fine. But in your written work, don't start it with the word because. Isaac.
So, are there any times when you want to use the word because?
There are a couple times where it's okay grammatically to use it. Here's one I knew somebody would ask. One of them is when there are 2 parts to the sentence connected by a comma, like in this example here. Because the plant did not grow, you can think of it instead of the word since the plant did not grow. Because the plant didn't grow, I hypothesized there wasn't enough water. That's such a complicated time that it's really just best not to. So you could say something like, the plant didn't grow, so I hypothesized there wasn't enough water.
So what if you use it on like because of something?
That would be different. That would be because of, again, it might be better to use the word since.
Yes.
A better way. The other time is this conversationally, when you're answering a spoken why question. That's the time that it's okay. And then the final rule for my class has to do with punctuation at the end of a sentence. Sentences always end with punctuation. They either end with a period or an exclamation point, or if it's a question, they're going to end with a question mark. So here are the only rules that I really have. Now there's more, especially for your English classes, there will be more. But for my class, I want capital letters, full sentences, and punctuation. I will remind you the first couple times you submit something incorrectly, then I'm going to start taking off points for that. So pick out the correct one there. 1, 2, 3, or 4, which is the correct sentence. Yeah, it's number 1. You got it. Number 1. It has a capital letter at the beginning. It has a period at the end. There's no because that starts it. So that is the correct answer. All right. I have a couple jokes for you. What do you call a tube that just finished 12th grade? You call it a graduated cylinder. A graduated cylinder. And this is one of my favorites right here. The human body is primarily comprised of carbon, which is abbreviated with a C, hydrogen, which is an O, hydrogen, which is an H, oxygen, which is an O, and a little bit of sodium, which is an Na. So basically, we are 100% nacho, N-A-C-H-O, nacho. All right. That's it for the jokes for today. Oh, actually, I do have a couple more. I have a couple jokes that a student in another class sent me, and I thought they were really cute. And she drew some pictures, so I put them in here too. What do you call a fish that wears a bow tie? She drew the pictures as well. I don't know if I said that. I think she did a good job. Sophisticated. How about this one? What did one cloud say to the other? I missed you. And what do you call a snowman in the summer? A puddle. A puddle. Okay, so one more important piece of business. I want to remind you guys, when you send me a question, especially when you send me something in Canvas inbox, make sure that you are as specific as you can be so I can help you as quickly as possible. Tell me the page number if you're asking about something that's in the book. Tell me the name of the lesson if you're asking for something in one of the lessons. Tell me the learning check or quiz question number if you are asking about a quiz question. And then tell me what it is that you don't understand. What is it that you want clarification on? The more detail you can give me, the quicker I'll be able to help you with an answer. Isaac.
Oh, it's nothing.
Okay.
It
Vale.
doesn't have to be.
So I have a question. So for another class I take on AIM, and yeah, so it would say the deadline is September 2nd at 11:59 p.m. But it say it was the next day at like 9 p.m. for me. Is like that the same for this class? And does that mean I have to turn it in earlier?
So this is a little bit complicated, so bear with me. We go on Eastern time. I know that not all of you live in a part of the country that uses Eastern time. So if I have a due date, if any teacher at AIM Academy has a due date at, say, September 3rd at midnight, that's midnight Eastern time. For those of you who live in California, that's 9 o'clock. So just get used to thinking of your deadline as being 9 o'clock. Now, for my class, I think I was explaining last week, I have very flexible due dates. I don't ever take off points for anything submitted after the due date, really, no matter how late it is after the due date. I want you guys to learn how to structure your week, your day, so that you stay caught up. But I also understand what it's like to homeschool. I understand what it's like to have things come up. You might wake up and not feel good today, and you really don't feel like doing your assignments. And so you don't do anything today or even tomorrow. And then the next day you do 3 days worth. That's fine with me. I'd rather that you take your time and do a good job rather than rushing through to try to finish just so that you can get something in by the due date. Every teacher runs things just a little bit differently. So for my class, don't worry about the due dates. Now, there are reasons that I want you to stay with the due dates, and primarily that has to do with what we're learning here in these live classes. It goes along with what we're learning. When you guys are studying about longitude and latitude, we'll learn about longitude and latitude here as well. We'll do some case studies that apply to what you're learning in the daily readings that you're doing. But yeah, Valley, it's more of a guide. Exactly. That's a good way to put it. The other reason that I want you to stay with the due dates as much as you can, or even work ahead. I think it's great to work ahead. I always post the lessons at least 2 weeks ahead of the due dates so you can get ahead of schedule. That way, if something happens, you don't fall behind, because we all know what it's like to fall behind schedule. You look and you say, oh my goodness, I've got 5 lessons that are overdue. That red on the list of assignments, that can be very, very stress inducing. And I don't want you to be stressed out by this. So working ahead helps to avoid that kind of stress. Staying with the due dates helps you to avoid it. Good question. Sophie.
Usually when I'm just like looking at my assignments, I go to grades instead. So it's just like, I can see everything that I have to do.
Yep.
I saw something that said in all caps delete.
Yeah.
And I went to modules. Is that like something or just?
Yeah, I had a couple of you guys tell me that. So sometimes I make changes in the lessons and I'll get rid of one and add a new one instead.
Same.
And I title it delete so that I can then go into the pages and take it away. I just didn't do that. So I'll take care of that tonight.
Okay.
Whenever anything that says delete, just ignore it. It's
Okay.
nothing. It's nothing for you to do.
So
Yeah.
will our grade be fixed?
There shouldn't be. Is there anything? Was there something you had to do on it?
No, I don't see it, but it says 0 of 5 and it took my grade down.
I took your grade down. As soon as I delete it, as soon as I get rid of it, that'll fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, it should. If it doesn't, let me know. You actually, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Meredith. Yeah, if it ever says delete, that's my code for get rid of this. Yeah, unfortunately, see, Canvas makes it a little bit complicated for a teacher to delete something. If in order to delete it, I have to go into 3 separate pages. I have to remove it and then delete it and then delete it again. And so sometimes I forget to do that. So I'm sorry, Howard. I'm sorry, JR. Yeah. Okay. I will double check that. If you ever see one of those, let me know. Guys, really with any of that stuff, if you ever think, that doesn't look right, write to me and tell me, because probably it doesn't look right. And if you're wondering about it, so is somebody else. They're wondering about it too. All right. I will fix those tonight. Okay. So I have a couple questions for us to get acquainted, get used to one another. So here we go. There, you can type your answer right in the chat box, and I will read them as you type them. Okay, question number 1, using just one word, name something that makes you happy. Buttons. That's an interesting one. Are you sent that just to me? If
My
it says
dog.
direct message afterward, keep in mind that you're sending just to me.
I meant my dog.
Oh, your dog. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. Dog name buttons. Singing, art, still animals. Yeah. JR, animals. Yep. Sports. Excellent. Movie night. That's a good one. Drawing, family, life. Just life in general makes you happy. That's awesome. Cody, that's your dog, right? Cats, chess. Excellent. Excellent answers. I love that. All right. Next question. What is your least favorite food? Your least pizza. Pizza is your least favorite food. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that before. Liver, that's a common one. Broccoli, spinach, salad, beans, Brussels sprouts, fish, mustard, yeah, onions and fish oil. All right, I'm going to just tell you one and you write the answer. I don't have it to put up on the screen here. Would you rather be able to run 100 miles an hour or fly 10 miles per hour? Run or fly? Oh, a lot of fly, couple of runs. I think we have a pretty good mixture there. Pretty good mixture. You hate heights? I'd love to be able to fly. I think that would be fun. Okay.
One thing though, is you can't go too high because air,
Yep.
and it's super slow. Running would be faster.
Yep. Very good. All right. Here's another one. Describe your room using just one word. Messy, preppy, average, clean, unused, half clean, half messy, pandemonium. That's a great word. That's just a good word all the way around. Got some clean people, got some messy people. Blue, yeah. Amazing. All right, one more question. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or go forward in time to meet your descendants? Backward or forward? Forward in time to meet your descendants. Backward to meet your ancestors. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? See, I think definitely backward. I think when I think about traveling in time, I would love to go forward in order to see what the future holds. But I also think with regard to people, it would be fun to go back and meet great grandparents, people who lived a long time ago, give them some advice, help them to know how to do a better job so your life is a little easier, right? Excellent. All right.
Wait, one thing. Mine is very long and I'm bad at typing. Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead, Arhan.
I would go forward because the future is undetermined. I can determine what it is myself. I can think about it. I'm like, I'll go to the future where there are portable time machines. And then I can travel back and then into the future. So
that's true.
I get both.
That's true. That's the big question, isn't it? About time travel. Would you change things? Would it change the course of history, like Henry says? Yeah, I don't know. I
would just look at it.
Yeah. All right. Today we're going to, last week we talked about the 4 states of matter. And remember we have solid, and that's matter that has a thick shape and volume, something that the particles are really packed tightly together and they vibrate, but they don't move a lot. Then there's liquid, like think water, where it has a definite volume, but it takes the shape of whatever container it's in. So those particles, the atoms and molecules that make up liquids, can move around pretty freely, but not as freely as a gas. Gas is one where those particles move all over the place, and they have no fixed shape, no fixed volume. They can go really far apart. And I told you guys that I would find some information about plasma. So I want, is fire one what? Is fire a gas? What do you guys think? It's not exactly in between. That's a good guess though.
It's energy.
Yeah, fire is energy. Fire is neither solid, it's not solid, liquid, or gas. It is energy. It has different forms of energy. Light is a form of energy. Heat is a form of energy. It has both of those, light and heat. Now, we have to remember, you can't have fire without some kind of fuel. So there has to be something to burn, and that fuel itself is matter. So whether it's a log or gasoline or cloth or whatever is burning, there has to be some fuel. That fuel is matter. And then when the fire burns, it's going to do a chemical change to change some of those particles of whatever the fuel is into other things, some of which are things like ash. So ash goes up into the air. That's matter. But the fire itself is a kind of energy. Now, part of fire is also part of this fourth state of matter that we're going to talk about a little bit right now, plasma. So plasma is a lot like a gas, but it's a little different because it has a lot more energy. So in plasma, the particles of the gas have more energy. They have so much energy. They don't just spread apart, they break apart. The electrons actually break off of the atoms in a plasma. And that happens when either the gas is heated really, really hot, or it's put in some kind of a strong electrical field. The atoms actually lose their electrons. So remember, in a gas, the particles just spread apart from each other. In a plasma, the atoms separate from one another. Now those free electrons behave differently than a gas does. So now you've got inside whatever is making the plasma, you have the free electrons that were kicked off of the atom. And you also have the atom now, which is minus an electron. That's what we call plasma. That mixture of those things is called plasma. So you do find plasma in a lot of pretty cool places on the earth and in the world. That you find plasma in stars. So plasma is actually the most common kind of matter in the universe. You also find plasma in lightning bolts and in neon signs. I have this plasma ball that I'll show you guys. Have any of you guys seen a plasma ball? There's one moving right there. Yeah, Maisie's seen one. Sometimes you see them at the big science centers. You can touch them and they make your hair stand up. You can see the hair on your arms sticking straight up from a plasma ball. Well, I have a plasma ball here. It's not all that easy to see because it's bright in my room, but you can kind of see the things moving. And when I touch it, you can really see let me get my piece of paper here because that helps to hold that behind there. So if I touch it, you can see the arc is coming toward my fingers. And if I touch it on both sides, like there, you can see it going to both sides. So the reason for that is because there's this electrode inside here. It's a high voltage electrode inside that stalk that's sticking up right there. So it's creating a lot of energy. It's putting energy out. That's creating the plasma, because remember, that's what plasma is, gas that's highly energized. Now those electrons, once they break away from the atoms, they try to be away from each other. They try to move far away from one another. So they're trying to get away, and some of them are coming out through the glass and coming out into the air. Now, when you touch this plasma ball, the electrons in there come through the glass and go into my hand and travel through my body and then out through my feet onto the ground. Those electrons are actually moving through me because I am less resistant to the flow of electrons than the air is. So that's kind of cool. So this is a plasma ball, but plasma balls also come in different colors. See the different colors there? The reason they come in different colors is because, remember, all of the elements in the universe can be placed on this table. This is called the periodic table of elements, and we'll talk about it a bit this year. So the periodic table of the elements has them all arranged according to how many protons they have inside their nucleus, and different ones give us different colors. So these are the most commonly used in a plasma ball, these right here: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and nitrogen. Those are most commonly used inside a plasma ball, like the one that I have. And then, of course, there's other states of matter too. Besides just plasma, solid, gas, and liquid, we've also got ones called Bose-Einstein condensate, time crystal, neutronium, and quark-gluon plasma. So we don't need to go into detail about what all those are. They're much more complex than we need to do for our course today. All right, so there's your long answer to the plasma question. All right, let's talk about Google Maps. So somebody type in the name of your city and state. Just city and state, not your address, just the city and state. I'll use the first 5 that I get for city and state. All right, so here, you can stop now. All right, so we have, I'm going to drag this in so you guys can see this. This is what's called Google Maps. Now, it's going to navigate from anywhere to anywhere. It'll take you somewhere. Probably your parents use Google Maps or something similar. They might use Waze, or there's Apple has a kind of a navigation. So let's put CHUGIAK Alaska. Let's put that one in, and directions. And now let's add another one, add another destination. Let's add, what's the second one? Sophie's is Pleasanton, California. PLSANTON, California. And we'll add another one. This is Fullerton, California. We'll do 2 more. So we have, oh, that's a big one. How do you say that, Isaac?
Issaquah, Washington.
Issaquah, Washington.
If I spelled it, well, I might have spelled it wrong when I was trying to do it. But
Oh, that's okay. It got it. It got it.
yeah, I just don't. I wasn't trying to get completely
Yeah.
spelled right.
Yeah.
so.
You're close enough. You're close enough. All right. Chugiak. Gotcha. All right, Maisie, where are you in Russia?
I don't live in Russia. It's just I don't have I don't like live in like a city or a state.
Okay.
I live in a state. so-
Okay. All right. That's fine. So I wanted 5. I took the first 5 that you guys gave me, and we can use Google Maps to navigate somewhere. So if I wanted to take a trip from where I live in Pennsylvania all the way up to see Ava in Chugiak, and then all the way down to these 3 places, Fullerton, Morgan Hill, and Pleasanton, and then passing by Issaquah on the way, this would tell me how to do it. And I could say, you know, here are my look at that. It would take me 158 hours to drive that. All right. So let's click on that, or we'll go back. Let's go back and see. What if I wanted to walk it? Let's see how long it would take me to walk that. Oh my goodness. Oh, we can't even get walking directions. It won't even give us that many. All right, what we're going to do here, sorry. We're going to take off Alaska, because I think, Kaylin, that might be throwing us off there, because I can get walking directions probably to California. Yeah, it would take me 1,948 hours to walk from my location in Pennsylvania to California and Washington, to these different places. That's pretty cool. It would take 22 days to ride a bike. So you can use Google Maps to find out how to get there. You can use it to find your way. And there's also other things. I can look for, let's make it real easy. And I'm going to take these all off, and we'll pick something that's real close to me. Let's pick Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri. All right, so now I'm going to navigate to, oh, I left that. Let me take this one off. Oops. There. All right, so I'm going to do this one. So there. So I can tag up here and do restaurants, and it'll show me restaurants along the way. I can look for coffee shops along the way. These would be some restaurants that would be along the way. I can look for different kinds of cuisine along the way if I want to narrow it down. Yeah, Kaylin, I got it there. But yeah, I can look for airline travel. I can look for public transportation with Google Maps. I can look for gas stations if I'm traveling. It's a really good way to find your way. If, however, what you want to do is get lost instead of finding your way, a fun place to get lost is Google Earth. Anybody ever played with Google Earth before? Yeah, Google Earth is really fun. So I'm going to show you some Google Earth stuff here. So this is what Google Earth starts looking like right here. All right, so text San Antonio. Okay, fine. All right, so what we have here with Google Earth, we can type anything in here and find it. So let me do Henry's, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Carlisle, Pennsylvania. When I click on that, it's going to zoom in on Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and it's going to show all the different streets and towns. I can even take this little person right here and drag, look at those are all the streets I can look at. So this is the center of town in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And it'll zoom right in, and it's as if I'm walking down the street on West Lowther Street. I can click and I can actually move along. Now, let's say I want to leave Carlisle, Pennsylvania and go to San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, Texas. We'll zoom out onto the earth and spin over to Texas, and we zoom in right there. So this is really a fun way to be able to look at different places that you might not have even been able to go. So let me show you an example of one. Let's go to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The ELPHIA, Museum of Art. All right, so there we are in Philadelphia. There's the Museum of Art. So we're looking at it from the sky, but I don't want to look at it from the sky. I want to look at it from the front. So I drag this little guy, and he's going to put me right there. And now I'm going to land looking at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And there it is right there. So have any of you guys ever watched the TV show Rocky, or the movie Rocky? Yeah. So Rocky ran up these steps. Let me show you. We can go here. These are the steps that Rocky ran up in the show, that right there. People go and run those all the time. And right here, where is it? Oh, I think it's a little bit too blurry. Is the place right up at the top, right in this area here, is the place where he stood and put his fists up in the air when he successfully ran. So that's a fun thing to do. There's a couple of other things that you can do in Google Maps that is really fun. Watch this one. Giant prismatic spring in Wyoming. So we're going to zoom out of Philadelphia, leaving Pennsylvania, going all the way over to Wyoming. Look at that giant prismatic spring. This is a hot spring that is larger than a football field. And look at all the layers of color that there are around this. So those multicolored layers get their color from different heat-loving bacteria that live in it. Bacteria are the ones that give it this color. And this deep blue in the middle right there, that's because water scatters the blue wavelengths of light more than other colors do. So it reflects that blue back to our eyes. And I just think that's really beautiful. And again, we can always take this little guy and drag it, and we can stand here and look at the Giant prismatic spring. There it is. So there's a walkway here for people to be able to see. Don't know that you'd want to fall off on there. I bet that water's pretty hot. You see the steam coming off of it. Pretty cool. All right, here's another one. I think this one's fun too. Airplane Boneyard in Arizona. What do you think an airplane boneyard is? This is a place where old airplanes go to be retired. So we can zoom in and get closer, or we can zoom out and get farther away. Look at all those airplanes stacked up in the airplane boneyard. All the way around the place. Yeah, now we're also going to learn about longitude and latitude. So we can put longitude and latitude. I'm sorry, lost the page. We can put longitude and latitude in our Google Earth. So let's do 133.867.886, and then -63.987. This is supposed to be a negative here too. And let's just see where that takes us. All right, so that's taking us to a spot, longitude and latitude. This is what's called a guitar-shaped forest. Guitar-shaped, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So this was a forest that somebody made. There was a farmer in Ureta in the town of Laboulaye, and he started this forest. And this has become a wonder now for pilots and passengers who are flying over. People will want to fly over that, and you can zoom way out and see what that would look like from the sky. So imagine as you're a pilot and you're flying overhead and you see this guitar-shaped forest there. So there's another fun one. Let's go to the potash fields. The potash fields, I forget where they are. I think they're in Utah. Let's see if we can find those. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So there they are. You can see them there. Had to zoom in a little bit more. So any idea why these are so blue? That's the real color of them. Anybody guess? Potash is a very rich potassium-filled salt that's mined from underground. And it's essential for human life. It's used in fertilizers. Well, they have these ponds where they dry out the potash to get the potassium out of them, but they dye them this blue. Any idea why they might dye them blue? It has to do with evaporation. Water evaporates more quickly. They do look plastic. Water evaporates more quickly if it's blue. So they dye them blue to speed up the evaporation. Yeah, pretty interesting. All right, Maisie.
Do they still exist?
Yep, they're there now. They're there now. They're these big fields where they're drying out the potash. They get the potash from underground. It's mined in these underground deposits. It was formed like the like fossil fuels were. It was formed from evaporated seabeds millions of years ago. And then they put it in these ponds to dry it out, to be able to use it for fertilizer. Yeah. So there's also some other fun things that you can do with Google Earth. You have to go looking for them. They're not as easy to find as they used to be. But one thing we can do with Google Earth is take a tour. So there's all these things. Take a tour in Google Earth. You can see all these different sea level rise. Earth at night is really cool. Let's look at Earth at night. So this shows you what the Earth looks like from space at nighttime. All right, so here's the United States. This is what the United States looks like at night. This is the continental United States here. Here we have the Alaskan Islands, right here, sorry, the Hawaiian Islands. And way up here we have Kalen with Alaska. right in this area here. So there's not a lot of light coming from Alaska. Look where the light comes from in the United States. Mostly it's going to come from the East Coast and a bit here in the southeast of the US. Then there are large areas, we can zoom in a little bit too, and see there are large areas here in the West, especially where there's not a lot of light at night. Look at California, lots of light at California. Yeah, not a lot in Nevada, not a lot in Idaho, a little bit. Let's now spin the globe, zoom back out and spin the globe. Think about what you think, you know, compare North America here to South America.
I said not there, other way.
Now let's go this way. I'm going to mute you, Maisie. There we go. If you have a question, you can turn it back on. Here you can see in Africa, there's just not a lot of light. I don't know if I can take the, I want to see if I can take the, I wanted to take the words off, but I'm not seeing that. This is Tokyo at night. So this is the island of Japan right here. So you can see there's a lot there. China, there's the areas that have a lot of light. This is the Nile. Look what the Nile looks like at night. So it's very lit up. There would be a lot of lighting along the pathway of the Nile and here all around the Mediterranean Sea. Look at Italy. Lots of light in Italy. You can see that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun thing to look at. I'm going to try to go back here. Take a tour. There's another, so you can see here, there's changing forests, some languages. There's one I particularly like, buildings inspired by nature. This is kind of fun. One dot in Alaska, not even where I live, like 30 miles away. Yeah, well, it takes a lot of light. It isn't just one light bulb that you're going to see from space. It has to be a very lit city in order to be able to see the light from out in space. So this one is buildings that were inspired by nature. And you can just look through this. So this is in London. There, it's called the Gherkin. And this was structured after a sea sponge. So what could a sea sponge and one of the most famous skyscrapers in London have in common? The shape bears a striking resemblance to the skeleton of the sea anemone and sponges. So it's built that way to withstand pressure and temperature from the environment. Here's another kind of cool one. This is the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. And these are supposed to look like trees. The pillars in this cathedral are built to look like trees as you look from above. I've been in this. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, this one is, I can't even pronounce that. Canthas Graz. So this is a structure that exists within the functions of a living creature. This is an art museum that was built that way, and it's called the Friendly Alien. So that's pretty interesting too. The outside skin is filled with solar cells, so this makes its own energy. It powers all the fluorescent lights that are inside it. Is it grass in German? Cool. Yeah. All right, let's see what else we've got here. This is the BIQ building. So this is in Hamburg, Germany, where panels that are filled with algae line the outside of the building. Right here, this one and this one. Algae lines the outside of the building. That algae absorbs sunlight and performs photosynthesis, and they use it to produce heat to make the hot water inside the building. That's a pretty cool thing, inspired by nature. This, look at that, looks like the bird, doesn't it? This is a pavilion at the Milwaukee Art Museum. Anybody live near Milwaukee? Been to this museum? Yeah, all right, let's look at one more. Oh, I don't even know what that one is. That one wasn't on there the last time I looked. All right, inspired by the ventilation of termite mounds, this center in Harar has a passive cooling system. Well, that's interesting. Passive cooling. All right, so they're using things from nature. We look at structures in the earth and try to apply them to something that we could use on Earth. So a good example of that is gecko feet. You know, the way geckos can walk up a wall and even upside down. They don't do that with suction cups. They do that with a special kind of electromagnetic force that is between, it's a similar force to when you rub your head on a balloon and stick the balloon on the wall. So we're using that to try to make things that stick to other things. So that might be good. Here's one, this is a nature boardwalk. You can see the boardwalk there. That is structured after the bony plates of this tortoise shell. Don't know if there's purpose to that or if it's just beauty. It allows water to flow down the sides and back into the wetland below. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, there's a lot that we can do with Google Earth. And if you just completely run out of things and you just like, I want to just go exploring on Google Earth, you can go back here to where it says search right there. And when you type in search, at the bottom of search, there's something that says, I'm feeling lucky. So you just like, it'll take me somewhere. Let's look and see where Google Earth takes us now. Well, it's going to take us to a mountain pass in the Alps. So we can take our little guy here and we can walk down this. Well, we can't go to the mountain pass. We can go anywhere that there's blue. That's fine, Jasmine. Whatever you need to. So let's see what this looks like. This is in the Alps. Oh, we're on a ski lift in the Alps. If you're ever going on a vacation somewhere and you want to see what it's like in that vacation town, you can do that. So let's do Disney World. Disney World in Florida. It won't let us probably go inside Disney World. But let's see what the little, so here's, oh, it actually is letting us go inside Disney World. So if you're going, oh, we're inside the It's a Small World exhibit. It's like we're on one of the rides. There we are. It's a Small World. That's kind of fun. Let's try walking outside here. See what that, so this is what it looks like. If you're going to Disney World and you want to know what it looks like there, you can take Google Earth and you can look for it. Or you can just do the I'm feeling lucky. Maisie.
I actually been to Disney World before.
Fun. That's fun. Valet.
You know those little cars that like they don't have a driver or whatever, but they're like mapping that for the Google map. It like we were in LA and it came down when we were crossing the street, so I don't know where in LA we are, but we're somewhere.
I'm looking here to see if I can get a picture of one. I've seen them drive by too. Here's what they look like.
Like Dr. Karen.
So this is what a car looks like that's making this map. We're going to talk next week about how they make those maps. But yeah, Valet, that's just what it looks like. So it'll say Google Maps and Street View on the side there. And it's got this giant camera and it's taking a lot of pictures and then they put those pictures together. I don't want to go into too much detail about how they make it because I want to talk about that a little bit next week. Arhan.
I just wanted us to visit one place.
Okay, where would you like to visit?
It's called what's it called? The Spring Temple Buddha. It's like one of the tallest statues in the world.
Here we go, Spring Temple. All right.
It's like one of the tallest statues in the world. I learned about it yesterday.
Oh, this is in China?
Yeah, I think so.
So
it's in
China doesn't, the country of China doesn't have, you can see here, I dragged the guy. The country of China doesn't allow Google's cameras to come in and take pictures. So you can't find very many. There's just a few places. So we can see a picture of it here. That's a picture of it. It is very tall. Yeah. Anybody else? Oh, go ahead, Arhan.
Literally, one cool fact about it is if you stand right next to it, one of the, like, an average person is smaller than one of its toes.
Yeah. So you can see these windows right here. This is a window in a building. So this is a whole floor. So this would be 8 feet right here. It gives you an idea of just how big that is. Is there anywhere anyone would like to see? Maisie,
I want to see North Korea.
I don't think we'll be able to see anything in North Korea either. The communist countries a lot of times don't allow people from other countries to come in. So we're probably, yeah, you can see there's no blue lines here in North Korea.
None?
That's not going to work. You can see the country.
There are some. There are some.
There were some dots.
There are very few spots in North Korea you can go.
Yeah, see, those are just dots.
No, like go down, like see
Yeah,
your-
that's
South
South Korea. Yeah, we
So,
can go down into South Korea. All right, let's look at Eagle River Nature Center for Kaylin. That must be near where you live, Kaylin. And look, we don't have very far to go from Korea to, and let's see if we've got a, yep, so we can go right here and zoom in on that. And there we have it. There's the name. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Look how beautiful. Gorgeous. You walk there. Oh, that's beautiful. So you can kind of take a little virtual walk with Google Earth too. It's a really, really fun program to use. Anywhere else anybody wants to go? All right. I don't know if Argentina is gonna have that. Let's check and see. It's probably all we have time for. There we go. All right, so this is going to be right here. Let's see if, yeah, there's a lot of, go right onto the coast there. Looking out, oh, look at that beautiful water. Yeah, it's like we're standing on the top of a very tall building up here. We're on a balcony of a building looking out. So if you were going to this town in Argentina, you could look it over first. It's pretty fun, I think. Pretty fun. All right. Do any of you have any questions before we go? All right. Have some fun playing with Google Earth. I think it's really, really pretty cool to play with. All right. I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.